Eli Tomac is undefeated in the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship early here in 2015, and this weekend he's racing in his home state race in Colorado. It's Motocross coming up at the top of the hour. Momentum's such a huge point in the sport of motocross, not just on the track but off of it, and Eli Tomac and Marvin Musquin have it. They are the points leaders in the 450 and 250 classes of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. A big crowd on hand today in Colorado to see if they can keep it up.
Turn that head down towards the start gate. This is it. Heart rate's up, revs are up. We're about to go racing. Wow. Huge. Oh!
Cincerillo down!
In perfect conditions, the sport of motocross is a challenging test of endurance and desire. At altitude, it's a 35-minute torture chamber.
Fitness is crucial. When you're in elevation, oxygen is thin, so you're not getting enough oxygen to your blood, you get fatigued.
The Thunder Valley National Motocross will compete at over a mile above sea level. The athletes and their engines will be starving for oxygen as they race for the checkered flag. Moto 2 from Colorado is moments away.
Outside of the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado, it's the third round of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing, the True Value Thunder Valley National. Hello, everyone. Jason Wygant and multi-time motocross and supercross champion Grant Langston on hand to give you the call. Georgia Lindsay will be patrolling the finish line, starting line, and pit road all day long. The big story coming into this race, Colorado native Eli Tomac dominating the races out in California to start the year. 4 motos have been run, and he has won all 4 of them. That's the good news. The better, he's coming into his home track, so you got to figure he wants to keep it up. But the bad side, winning 4 to start, no guarantee of a title. As recently as 3 years ago, James Stewart came to this race in Colorado. A bizarre incident. A photographer crossed the track, he got distracted, he crashed out of it. Did not win the title that year. And our own Grant Langston also once started the year 4-0. And I hate to even bring that year up because you could not have had a more heartbreaking scenario to lose the title. Starting strong, no guarantee of a championship.
That's very true, Jason. 2001, I came out strong. 4 moto wins, things were going well, and then mechanicals at Mount Morris round 3. Round 4 was Southwick, separated my shoulder. And that's what happens in racing. When you're pushing the limits, anything can happen. So for Eli Tomac right now, he's got the pace, he's got the confidence. He's just got to stay healthy, and that sounds like, hey, just one goal to accomplish. It's a long season. We only watch the races. These guys turn far more laps during the week, so there's a lot of opportunity to get hurt. You see the 250 riders having a look at the track. You can tell rut's getting deeper, so these guys taking it all out.
They've already completed a moto earlier today. It's a 2-moto format here as you see our 4-1-1. We'll combine the results from our first moto from earlier this afternoon with this one to determine our overall winner. So let's give you the highlights of that first moto of the 250 class. Tomac, who we've been talking about, competing in an hour in the 450 class. Here is your 250 start. Jeremy Martin, number 1, had terrible luck last weekend in California. This is how you turn it around. You grab that early lead. He's got Jesse Nelson on the 28 and the 25 of Marvin Musquin with him. This track claiming a lot of victims. Mitchell Oldenburg down. And then second place, Nelson launches off the side of the track. Lucky that wasn't worse. Now watch Ryan Brees here. Gymnastics on a motorcycle. Not the way you want to dismount. And then Musquin, who was running second and your series points leader, he crashes hard.
He takes a tough one. You can tell him. He's just shaking his head, getting his vision back. Marvin at the worst part of the track, bottom of the downhill on the braking bumps. But then the battle continues. Look at this. Welcome back to Pro Motocross. Christian Craig round the outside of Adam Cincerillo. Fantastic result, but no one had anything for J-Mart. 5 for 5. This guy, well, not 5 for 5, sorry.
Yeah.
Last week a little bit bad luck, but comes back right there, back in the championship. Take a look at the results. You will not see the number 25 of Marvin Musquin. He gets 14th first moto, but there's your top 10.
Osborne Nelson on the podium. Well done. Let's send it to Georgia Lindsay on the GoPro starting gate.
I'm with our race 1 winner, the number 1 of Jeremy Martin. Jeremy, congratulations on that race 1. The track is getting gnarly. How do you think it's going to turn out after the 450s have ridden it going into your next moto?
I mean, the 450's got a lot of power. They'll just beat it up and make it even more gnarly. So, you know, we made some changes. Hopefully they should be for the better. And so that way, get out there, get a good start, and ride like I did in the first moto.
Best of luck, Jeremy. Thank you. On the other side of me, we have Kyle Peters on the Motorsport GPI Honda. Kyle, that moto was good for you, huh? Qualifying not so good, and I said, well, maybe if we can go up from qualifying, we'd be good. But it was 18th qualifying, 11th in that last moto. What are you looking to for this moto?
You know, just another good start and ride my own race. I had some bad lines that first one, but yeah, you know, get a good start and put in some solid laps, and I think we'll have another top 10.
Thank you, Kyle.
Kyle was solid at our last race, too, so this privateer team making some inroads. We'll see how they do in Moto 2 up next. Back here at Lakewood, Colorado, 6,000 feet of elevation. We're about to go motocross racing in it. We'll see how it affects the bikes and the bodies. As you can see, we're just under 4 minutes from the start of our first moto. Here's your Kawasaki track map. Take us for a ride around Lakewood. Grant Langston?
Yep, Lakewood at elevation, drop the gate, uphill start, use that horsepower and your start technique, make that sharp right, and hopefully get that motorsport.com whole shot into this left, past the TV trucks, and a long uphill climb. Incredibly important to get the drive up this hill, all the way to the top part of the track, make this left, launch back down the hill into the series of braking bumps that are getting rougher and rougher as the day goes on. We saw Marvin Buskin having issues there in the first moto. Then back up the hill, step up, triple step up. This section here changes just a little bit. Follow the camera. It makes this right and then goes straight back down the hill. And over that step down. Then this section too, we saw a lot of crashes all at the bottom of the hills under the heavy braking spots with the bumps are the biggest. Right, left, another right, then over the Red Bull, big step up in front of all the fans. A little whip out from the arrow there through this long sweeping left. And then this part right here, it's different. You hang a right, join the track that used to be there. So it's kind of the same, but a lot different, if that makes sense. Up around that sweeper. We saw here some crashes in practice over that blind rise, over this step up, the Lucas Oil jump, where we saw Ken Roxon earlier almost have a big one. Through the rollers, make a right, get your weight back on the throttle through these rollers, then you pass the Fram mechanics area, have a look at that pit board, swing a right, cross the finish line. That's a lap here.
Well, that green arrow did a great job on the lap, and so did this guy. Christian Craig, our fastest qualifier, wins the Bud Light Award for that, and this is impressive. It's his first race of the year. He's a replacement rider for the injured Justin Bogle. Now we're going to go on board here with Jesse Nelson with our GoPro onboard. This is from our first moto earlier today.
Well, it's nice when you don't have any bikes in front of you, but when you get to this corner here, you'll see there's Martin around the outside. He swoops around him, gets that whole shot. Great start for Nelson. See the lines a bit smooth here. They smooth that first and second turn. Give these guys a lot of line options, and then back on the throttle up this long hill through the Bud Light jump. You can hear those 250s giving everything they got, every ounce of horsepower trying to get out of these bikes at this altitude. About 30% down on horsepower. So these guys having to hold the throttle on probably about 30% more.
All right, we're almost there to the gate drop. The riders have had a sighting lap now. They've been able to survey the course one last time. But it's really just a guessing game to know exactly how it's going to turn out. You mentioned with the KTM keys to the moto, the changing track conditions.
Well, they have been changing because this track was really wet and muddy. They took a lot of topsoil off, all that loose muddy stuff, and the track is drying out, but it's getting rutted. We saw a lot of mistakes in the opening motos. Also racing at altitude, the rider, the team, they have to make changes to compensate. Some of these guys starting in first gear. At the third one, can Jeremy Martin rebound from Glenn Helen? In the first moto, he showed us you can throw anything at him, and J-Mart will get back at it.
Get a little bit warmer here. It was in the 60s earlier today. Now we're up to 76, but considering they had 28 straight days of rain, the real factor is that sunshine graphic you see there. You couldn't ask for better weather for racing, and almost all the mud that was on the track, this is how they do it motocross style. You just take the bulldozers and just keep pushing that mud off to the side until you finally find dry dirt. But we think that might have affected the track. A lot of times you bring in sand and mulch to make the soil softer. They pushed all that off because it was muddy. So the track's going to be rock hard. And this guy knows it more than anyone. Your points leader in the series, Marvin Musquin, hit the deck in the first moto, hit it hard. Can he bounce back? He's got to be sore. This track is showing no mercy to these riders. Whoa, a lot of bumping and banging going into the first turn, and Jeremy Martin has another whole shot coming out of it. Motorsport.com award coming his way. Osborne, Nelson, and Musquin have good starts again.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure when we saw some riders cartwheeling, I'm pretty sure it was one of the Monster Energy Pro Circuit riders that went down. I saw green Kawasaki flipping. It is Aldridge. He is down. He had a great result starting the season on the podium, and unfortunately, this is a reminder of how brutal professional motocross racing can be for a youngster.
Musquin quickly around both Nelson and Osborne to second, trying to bounce back and challenge Jeremy Martin in this one. And here comes Nelson on the 28 with that lime green gear, trying to come back on Musquin. So they're flip-flopping in second, third, fourth, and the rest.
Well, we didn't see that crash from Marvin in the first moto. We saw him getting up very slow. We saw the bike twisting. It looked like the way he crashed, it ripped his neck brace apart. So we know he hit really hard. He salvaged the 14th place and some crucial points, and is holding on to a 1-point lead over the number one who is leading this. So right now, mana a mana, the two guys that want this title, the 1 and the 25, they're first and second. Martin has the pace. Marvin going the long way around. He's probably riding injured. We're going to see just how this moto unfolds for 25. But this is salvation mode, Jason.
We're going to see how tough the 25 is after that huge crash earlier, trying to bounce back here. Nelson is third, did finish third at our last race a week ago in California. Behind him, you have Osborne. Oh, man, that hole.
You can see there how deep those ruts are getting. They're uneven. You got pockets and holes everywhere. And we've seen it all day. Just mistakes from the top riders in the world. But being the top riders in the world, compensated and pulled it together to avoid crashing most time. Fortunately for Marvin, he went down hard. But we saw a lot of guys getting swapped out. There's Matilda, Marvin Musquin's wife. The support program, the other side. She is behind her husband. They've traveled the world, moved from France. Great couple, good people. Marvin trying to go after that number one. You see the track. Look how dry it is already, Jason. We're seeing dust. I mean, as of yesterday, we saw that threatening weather and those clouds. We were wondering if this track is going to just be a mud fest. Unbelievable what some sunshine can do to this place.
28 straight days of rain leading up to it, and we have dust on the track. Well done by the crew to clear a lot of that mud off and dry it up. Well done for Marvin Musquin, riding through pain right now after that big crash earlier, but he's losing ground rapidly to Jeremy Martin, who's up by now 2 seconds. Nelson, Osborne, Alex Martin. He had a rough go of it in Moto 1 with some mechanical problems. Fifth early in this race, you'll see the blue fenders coming through. He is battling with Osborne right behind this guy. Jesse Nelson's third. Then watch this battle. Martin to the inside on Osborne. He's got fourth place.
He looks just like his brother now. You can tell they ride and train together, even look alike on the bike. Similar stature, similar riding styles, and Alex Martin just powers up the inside, gets the red line. Osborne takes a look over his shoulder. He might just be taking a quick little breather, trying to figure out, man, why am I losing position when I'm giving it everything I've got? But sometimes you just got to look at some different line selections. Sometimes you just got to take a deep breath and reset and even just follow the guy in front of you. Hey, if he passed you, guess what? He's probably got a little more speed than you. Follow his lines, figure out where he's gaining time, and try and figure out where your strengths are. Put it all back together, and you have a chance then at maybe coming back to these guys in front of you.
Martin trying to bounce back, going after third. He was third in the points coming into this race. And just a phenomenal improvement from Alex, the older brother of Jeremy this year. Zach Osborne, an improvement today over the previous rounds. He had all kinds of bad luck. Crashed actually in our last moto a week ago and hurt his shoulder. Came all the way back for second in our first moto earlier today. Here's Adam Cincerillo on the number 50. Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. The kid coming back after missing over a year of racing and injury. A little bit better every week. Started off extremely strong, leading our first moto of the year at Hangtown, but we've seen the adrenaline the guys are coming back from injury carried into the first race. Now it's the dog days, the long slog through the season. It's building a little bit every moto. Sixth place right now.
Well, I think if you're Adam Cincerillo, you're probably looking at it, I've got room for improvement, which is a good thing. Because some of these guys, they feel like they're as good as they are. Look at this battle around the outside. Jordan Smith, he grabs a handful.
Gets around Oldenburg.
Yeah, Oldenburg, who we saw have a crash earlier, loses the position. So the youngster Smith on that Geico Honda puts himself now into 8th position. Solid top 10, Oldenburg, and then behind them, our fastest man in qualifying, Christian Craig on that 68 Geico Honda. Solid moto performance in that first one. Really came on strong. Really impressed me, Jason.
Then Jackson Richardson, a young Australian, rounds out the top 10. So Jordan Smith, he's been up and down in his pro career. He's had some injuries and some crashes. He's also had some pretty good rides. Right now, it's 7th after making that move on Oldenburg. Oldenburg is a replacement rider for the injured Darren Durham on this Lucas Oil Troy Lee KTM team in the Honda. Geico Honda and Craig trying to go down to the inside and get him. Craig has just been a revelation today.
Using those long legs as leverage, getting his weight back. Almost using it as suspension. Watch how much he uses his legs through the braking section. You see the bike just moves a little bit less than some of the other guys. That's using, if you're tall, you've got to use that to your advantage. You can't.
Send it to Georgia Moore, the 68, who has just made the pass on Oldenburg. Craig is doing it again, Georgia.
Yes, it's unbelievable. We haven't seen Christian Craig for over a year now. He retired as a racer, and then he comes back. He suddenly just decides to quit his job. He returns to racing, is out of retirement again. But I spoke to his wife, Paige. They recently had a baby in the past year, baby Jagger, who we wanted to say hi to. So hi to baby Jagger at home. But she said, yeah, back to nerve-wracking days again when her husband's racing. But for him, that's what he wants to do, and all of them. Racing's in their blood, and that's why he's back with us.
Yeah, well, by the way, Christian Craig's dad, Mike Craig, no slouch in his own right. Former factory rider, former winner of a Supercross. So, Christian, there's no surprise that he's so naturally talented, and he has closed up on Alex Martin. And is that Martin losing ground, or is it everyone else going backwards? I'm trying to figure out exact order right now. Yeah,
right.
It is Martin losing ground. Something's wrong.
Oh,
wow.
He's hitting that right side. I've got a feeling that the brake lever, is it bent? I'm trying to have a look. I don't know if it's jammed or what, but he's definitely some sort of a mechanical. We see our cameraman Shoe getting up tight there.
You talk about bad luck. So he has problems with the hole shot device on the front forks, where they lower the motorcycle automatically off the start. That was the problem in Moto 1. Now the rear brake.
You see what he's doing? He's putting in a little more free play. I'm wondering if there wasn't enough free play. When you drag those brakes, sometimes the brake pads heat up and they start seizing, like locking up, basically preventing that rear wheel. You see, he took a seat. Now he's like, okay, it's spinning. So that's what happened. The rear brakes, and sometimes at altitude, weird things happen. You get a little bit of air in there and it expands, and you get a little different feeling on the pedal, but I think it was starting to jam. So you saw the mechanic take some free play out, basically give it a little more leverage. So it's not binding, but Martin back in the race. Alex Martin.
Yeah.
But his brother Jeremy out front.
Disaster for Alex, who is 3rd in points coming into this, 18th in Moto 1, and now out of the points so far in Moto 2. Everything looking good for Jeremy Martin, or if you're just a tourist here in Colorado. Next Saturday at 3 Eastern, Robert Guerrero returns to PBC and takes on challenger Aaron Martinez. And Saturday night, June 20th, Rising Stars face off as Adrian Broder and Sean Porter take to the ring. Premier Boxing Champions returns next Saturday, 3 Eastern on NBC. Blake Baggett signing some autographs here. The 450 class now rejoined the 250 class of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross here from Colorado. Robert Muscan, long day for him. He is 2nd. Maybe he'll take that, considering everything he has had to deal with. And you know what? It's not just him. His entire Red Bull KTM team has had it rough. His teammate Justin Hill was 2nd at our race in California last weekend, but watch what happens to him here in practice.
Yeah, this is just some bad flagging or lack of flagging. Justin Hill goes down hard, takes down several top riders, and even Jeremy Martin goes down, and then this is the first moto for Marvin, and you could tell that was a big one at the bottom of the hill at the big braking point. You see there 3 mechanics rebuilding that bike, changing twisted clamps, handlebars, everything you can imagine. See them whipping on some new tires. Marvin looks a little banged up physically as well as the bike was, but riding here, these guys are champions, Jason. They will dig deep, ride through some extreme pain, but he knows that in the day, this is worth a whole lot, because what does every rider want to do? Win the championship. And this right here keeps him in the hunt. Even if he does finish 2nd, 2 points behind going to round 4, not a bad way. Get rid of the first quarter of the season.
Yeah, I mean, that crash looked devastating what he had earlier. As for his teammate Hill, who you saw, yeah, a rider had crashed, and Hill landed on his bike. You didn't see that he was down. Hill not able to race today after that impact. Really a bummer. He had made some momentum up after finishing second last week. Here are your event points on the top of the screen. That's when we combine the scores of both motos. Osborne has gotten around Nelson here, just like he did in Moto 1. And because Muscat had problems in the first Moto, he's not in the overall podium picture. So it's looking like a potentially Martin Osborne 1-2. The question is, who will finish third overall today? Will it be Nelson? Cincerillo, perhaps? That'd be a good shot in the arm for him. Or will it actually be Christian Craig, who's fifth overall? Absolutely beating anyone's expectations, I would think, for Craig. First race ever for him on the 250. First race for him this year. This guy was basically retired, working a regular job in construction. He comes out, and he's not too far off the pace of these guys. You can see behind Nelson, Cincerillo, Jordan Smith, and Craig all fighting for it.
Well, if you look at the lap time, Christian Craig about a second quicker than his Gangler riders in front of him, so he's got the pace. He's closing up slowly. This is going to get really interesting. We've still got plenty of racing to go. Almost 6.5 minutes, plus then they do 2 laps. Cincerillo just keeps getting a little bit better each week. His speed has been good. He's had a couple, little mistakes here and there, but that's what happens when you're pushing it. I think this youngster has really conducted himself well, making a good comeback, and he just keeps creeping towards the front step of the podium.
The guy behind him is actually now Smith, who has passed Craig. So Smith 6, Craig 7. Let's send us down to Georgia with a little more on Adam Cincerillo.
Yes, I was speaking to his riding coach, and it's a guy that we all kind of know, Ivan Tedesco. About when Adam started riding, Tedesco started riding with him and turning out to be his riding coach. And what's kind of funny is because Cincerillo on track right now, but this track here at Lakewood was Ivan Tedesco's first 250 win, first 450 win, and his last ever win of his career. So hopefully that'll bring some luck Adam Cincerillo's way.
Well, Tedesco is from New Mexico, but that's the next state down south from here, and he raced a ton on this track growing up, so he knows his way around. Maybe that's helping, but they need all the help they can get because Jordan Smith on the Geico Honda all over Cincerillo's Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and this is for top 5.
Yeah, great battle between these youngsters. Cincerillo's just keeping his cool, doesn't look flustered. He's in between. He's the meat of this battle sandwich. Ooh, a little sideways there.
Halfway through this one, 15 minutes to go, and in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on your insurance. Just call Geico or watch this battle. It's a 3-rider fight. Nelson, who is 4th, Cincerillo on the green bike, and then the 6th place position is Smith on the red Honda. Who's it going to be between these 3? Osborne in 3rd has slipped away. You see him on the white Husqvarna. Solid in the number 3 spot.
Man, look at these bikes just dancing around. The suspension getting worked so hard. They're working the engines with every ounce they can get out of these 250 machines. They have a lot of power, but for these guys that are used to the power at sea level, when you come up there, it's about, like I said, it's about 30% you lose, which may not sound like a huge, it sounds like a good discount, right, Weege? But
yeah,
when you're racing 30%,
I like 30% off in most conditions,
exactly.
But not here.
Yeah, not as a rider with horsepower. So these guys really just revving everything. You'll actually hear them picking up the RPMs in the air. They want that rear wheel spinning in the prime, RPM range for maximum horsepower. So when they land and hit those uphills, they're getting everything possible out of these 250 machines.
Mitch Payton, who's the team owner for Cincerillo's squad, maybe the most well-known as far as engine builders and performance guys.
He's the most decorated team owner in the 250 class.
I asked him, what do you change nowadays with elevation? He said, there's really not much you can do. I mean, if we could find horsepower, we wouldn't save it for this race. We'd be using it at the other races as well. The bikes perform better these days, though they do have fuel injection. Only a few years ago, they were still carbureted. That was a nightmare for these teams to deal with.
Yep, I know.
And the difference is a carburetor is basically just gravity with the fuel going in. Now there's a pressurized fuel pump, and that pressure creates consistency throughout as Cianciarulo makes the pass on Nelson. But you talk about the old carburetor days when you didn't have that pressurized system and fuel started to bounce around and boil.
Yeah, we had issues with, when I say we, a lot of riders, with fuel boiling, especially when it was hotter. When the fuel consumption gets real low, it's sitting above the engine, which is running really hot because of the altitude and the way the guys have to rev the engines more. So when the fuel load got very low, it had an ability to boil, so it evaporates and the bike would fog and cut out. All kinds of issues back then. Now they have EFI, electronic fuel injection, kind of like your car at home. It basically almost calibrates somewhat of itself to the condition, and the teams change mapping to make the bike get the most out of it.
So Cianciarulo has gotten the most out of this battle right now. He's up to 4th. Nelson back to 5th. Jordan Smith still lurking at 6th. And Jeremy Martin still getting away. Blue flags are flying. That's telling the lap riders to get out of the way because Jeremy Martin here on the number 1, he is flying as well. The Yamalupe Star Racing Yamaha rider won the first moto earlier today. And here in Colorado, he's looking to make it 2 for 2, win them both, and make our job very easy to figure out who the overall winner is. And he has a lead late in the race. It's going to be hard to take it from him. He is as fit as anyone out here. Just a ridiculous training regimen. Working with Johnny O'Mara, who won this title 31 years ago, and O'Mara is still incredibly fit himself. Races mountain bikes and road bikes, used to do triathlons back in the day. So you hook a trainer like O'Mara up with this guy, and the fitness level.
Great combination.
Yeah, it's off the charts. And then in addition, the starts are good.
I was going to say, here's our motorsport.com whole shot replay, and that confidence is showing. You see the background, big crash, but Aldridge goes flying there. But Martin, around the inside, did it a little bit easier than he did the first moto. First moto, he swept around the outside of Jesse Nelson when we saw that, but the number 1 gets a whole shot. We see it right here from the side view quite clearly, almost a bike length. You see the rest of the gaggle of riders coming through. But if we look at the lap times, Jason, Marvin has been creeping in a little bit, about a half a second on average in a few laps. I'm pretty sure if Jeremy Martin saw Muskin behind him, he could step it up a little bit. I think this is J-Mart just riding his pace. Very little gets him flustered. I'm wondering if maybe growing up in Minnesota with it being cold, if their blood temperature that runs through them is just cooler. Because these guys are cool. Him, Dungy, it's like a Minnesota thing. Just, you know, they got ice through their veins. Nothing gets them flustered. They don't bag on anyone. They don't rag on the competition. They don't say anything mean. Just like, hey, we'll get them next time if they lose. And he's like, hey, I'm just happy to be here when they win.
Or maybe it's just, heck, if you lived through those winters of bad moto here, that's not going to upset you. I had a lot worse to deal with than that. Christian Craig and Jordan Smith moving forward. The Geico Honda teammates, they have both gotten around Jesse Nelson. So Nelson going backwards here to 7th. In Nelson's defense, he said he missed about 6 weeks of riding after a big crash while testing for this outdoor series. Didn't even get the final Supercross races in. And he says his fitness is not quite there. But on the other hand, you have Christian Craig here in the 68, who has just been incredible. 4th in the first moto, 6th today, and your Bud Light fastest qualifier. He was not even supposed to race. He was planning on coming out for fun in the 450 class in about a month at Redbud. Then the Geico Honda team had an injury with Justin Bogle, so they called Craig and said, well, come back early. So he's essentially a month away from when he thought he'd be racing, and he's still strong. 6th place for him. Nelson, as we mentioned, Lucas Oil, Troy Lee KTM back in 7th. Behind him is Aaron Plessinger. That's Martin's Yamaha teammate, a rookie. Oldenburg 9th. McElrath, another Lucas Oil, Troy Lee KTM rider, 10th. Hampshire, Richardson, Peters, Rensland, and Dakota Alex rounding out the top 15 here. So Nelson, he showed good speed, good starts, but by his own admission, he's not quite there. He said he was hanging on so tight, so tense last week, he rotated the grips on the handlebars. Then industrial strength glue and then safety wire to hold those things on, and he twisted them.
I'm only laughing because I've done the same thing.
Really?
And that's just a very simple key on, man. We call that the death grip.
Okay.
I mean, you're holding on so tight, it's like your life depends on it. But this is a track that would show someone if they're lacking a little bit in the fitness category. And Nelson made it very apparent, and it totally makes sense if he fades a little bit at the end here. But nothing can replicate getting back into shape than riding with max heart rate, everything you got. This is essentially almost a training day for him.
We saw Plessinger go by in the Yamaha. That is 8th. 9th here is Oldenburg. Oldenburg has a 5-race deal right now with Troy Lee KTM, but if the results are pretty solid, they might keep him on for the entire year. This is round 3. He's got to be right around the top 12 is where they're hoping he would be, and right now a 9th, so kind of exceeding the mark. Good for him.
You like to see a kid like this get an opportunity, and I know the guys there at Troy Lee KTM, they want to help these kids. That they generally go after the younger guys. Tyler Keefe running that team. Troy Lee behind it, got some great sponsors, but these guys definitely going off the youngsters. There's the 40 of McElrath. Oh, see the little head shake around the outside. Carry
bars just slapping around.
Yeah, that's why you end up with that death grip. You don't want that. That's scary coming down the hill with the handlebars slapping in your hand. So you tend to hold on a little tighter. Sometimes it's right end. Sometimes it can be the bike, and truthfully, sometimes it's a little bit of both. The bike's not quite set up. Oh, got a little close to the lap of their lines coming together.
Hampshire, that's the red bike, the Geico Honda coming through here now. That's number 80. He's 11th, trying to get to McElrath to take a top 10 position away. Hampshire, a rookie. He's never raced at this track before. Learning his way around. He's out of Florida. So definitely the altitude's a little bit of a different situation for him.
This is nothing like Florida.
No.
It's not humid. There's hills everywhere.
No sand.
Yeah, it's clay. So he's going, where am I? Am I in the U.S. or where am I?
Hampshire, who works with Tim Ferry, who's had some great success at this track back in the day.
Red Dog.
Yeah, Red Dog helped bring Hampshire through the ranks. Really hit his stride only a few years ago. Really wasn't very well known as an amateur, but his whole family raced. His sister won a national amateur title years ago. His dad, his uncle, they all race. But RJ really carrying the flag for the Hampshire
family.
family.
Wasn't he a really good baseball player as well?
Yeah, he was a starting pitcher on his high school team.
Wow, I know nothing about baseball, just FYI.
That means you throw the ball hard.
No, that's amazing.
That's what you do. He throws the ball hard. This
He
probably
twists the throttle hard too as well at times.
Yeah, he's doing all right. Hey, Kyle Peters, remember we talked to him before the Moto? Excellent job. He was 7th in a Moto last week in Glen Helen. 13th now. The GPI Motorsport Crossland Racing Honda. And Peters, new to this team this year, really coming into his own. And the best thing, these privateers, Jackson Richardson right behind him, a young Australian. We've seen privateers go fast at times, but to do it consistently week in and week out is usually the hard part. Peters and Richardson really making a name for themselves. XPR Motorsports backing Richardson. He has never been able to race all 12 national rounds because of visa issues, having to go back and forth through Australia. Has that straightened out this year. Looking to race all 12 rounds right now. And with this field, there's so much factory support in the 250 class. If you're in the top 20 as a privateer, you're doing something right.
Yeah, just like you're saying, these guys are privateers, but you can only have so many factory rides, and these guys are doing great.
Well, maybe they'll be on those bikes next year if they keep putting in performances like this. These are the trophies. You got the snowboard with the photo of the race. Very fitting for the Mile High City. We'll be right back. Back here on NBCSN, this is the True Value Thunder Valley National, and we have settled in for the long haul of this championship fight. A week ago, this rider, Jeremy Martin, anything that could have gone wrong did. His bike didn't start before the first race. The field took off. They finally got it to fire, and he came from last to 5th. Second moto gets knocked down in the first lap, comes from last to 6th, salvaging points. Today, perfect day, looking to win both motos. But you know what? Last week was perfect for Marvin Muscan. He had trouble in the first moto day. He's had to bounce back.
But at the end of the day, if you were maybe to ask Jeremy Martin, which was more of the impressive performance, last week or this week? I think last week he passed almost basically 70-odd riders.
Yeah.
This week he did what he can do. Look at Marvin. He's not giving up. He's giving everything he's got. He's still hanging on. It's stretched out just a little bit at the end here. I'm wondering if Marvin's thrown everything he had at it. And maybe the injuries and the fact that he's not closing, starting to take a little wind out of a guy's sail. But a very impressive ride from Marvin, especially after that vicious crash in the first moto that broke his neck brace. And we saw him shaking his head down on his hands and knees, but scored 7 valuable points to keep a 1-point lead in the championship until now.
This is a good battle here. Cincerillo and Smith. Smith has now gotten him. There he is. Oh, and almost throws it away on the 126. So that will put Smith up to 4th, Cincerillo back to 5th. Either way, it's the best moto finish of the year for each rider, regardless of the order. So they've got something to be happy about.
I
Smith's
guarantee
trying
you
to
they're
build some consistency.
sucking some wind right now. With this altitude, lack of oxygen, some of these youngsters, they're just not used to it.
Cirulo was third, sixth.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's amazing. You gain a position, next thing you're on the box, you lose position, not in the top 5. That's what racing's like, and the 250 is so competitive. Besides J-Mark with his 1-1, you usually see a lot of mixed results. You know, a 2-4 or a, 5, 2 for an overall. So right now, you look at the top there, Osborne will get his first podium this season. Great for him. Jesse Nelson will go back-to-back podiums. Solid for him. And Jordan Smith and Christian Craig are tied basically for 4th, but they'll go 4-5 because of the second motor finish. But great job by these, one's a youngster and one's coming back, so nice overall there.
Talking about coming back, Cirulo's not done. Whoa! Little nose heavy there for Smith, and Cirulo wants him back. And this is huge because that pass, when Smith passed Cirulo, as we said, he went from 3rd overall to 6th because he loses 2 points for that position. He gets it back, he can conceivably be back on the podium.
It's a 4-point swing. We talk about 2 points, but one pass is a 4-point swing, which is sometimes what people just tend to forget. And that makes a big difference in overall. That's why a 1-1 gives you 6-point gain, but if a guy is able to trade motos, it's a wash.
I don't know if second wind is a real scientific athletic fitness thing, but it looks like Cirulo's got it, and a few more mistakes from Smith, and he's been able to get right back on him. So Smith caught him and passed him, and now Cirulo has caught Smith and is looking to pass him back. This again, 4th and 5th. Martin, Muscat, Osborne, solid 1, 2, 3. The real question is, we know Martin's going to win the overall. We know Osborne will be 2nd. Who will be 3rd for the day? Could be Cirulo. Could be Nelson. Smith is in the hunt. Boy, it's going to be a lot of math down here.
Yeah, one bobble, it could be somebody else as well. That's how close the racing is in this class. All these youngsters desperate to be on the podium. See, they're battling to get up that triple step up. I'm talking about the altitude and the loss of horsepower. So those guys giving everything, trying to get to the top. The 450 riders have a little more luxury with that extra 200 cc's and some more horsepower. But this is the fitting moments of the race where you're tired, you're breathing heavy. The bike is, once it gains a lot of heat in the engine, heat is the enemy of performance because you lose power. As Jeremy Martin, doesn't matter if he loses some power, he's got this race under lockdown as he's done so many times. White flag out, this is the last lap. He's now stretched it out. Marvin losing a bunch of time. I think he's really just backed it down, settled for 2nd. And once again, we wondered how would J-Mont respond to a bad week. And we say bad week, we're talking about just his, if you look on paper, you see him, down there, you're like, oh, what happened? Well, when you know what happened, you go, okay, he actually had a good ride. And this right here is just textbook from him, robotic, get out front, run your pace, don't let anything fluster you, bang out some good lap times. Look at him, just picking his lines, doing what he wants, putting that Yamaha where he needs it. Can't say enough about this kid. His maturity, defending that #1 plate. This battle's not done. Cirulo around the outside to the white flag. He's got the inside. He took his 3rd win right there and got it around.
Well, you need it all at altitude, I guess, as much wind as you can get. Smith is going to try to get him back. This could really shake up the overall. Smith was 6th in the first race. They're racing past our announcer's tower, past the motorsport.com whole shot line. What a fight, and what desire for both of these two to go down to the final lap of the final moto of the day at altitude. Rough track, they've got to be exhausted.
This is pure adrenaline. These guys are tired, they're whipped. Cirulo's not 100% for Smith. This is his first season. You know it's pushing his fitness level right here. They are just digging deep. This is willpower and determination, fighting till the end. And J-Mark, I guarantee you his heart rate's about 20 or 30 beats less than the other guys, because right now it's just going through the motions.
I'm just so impressed with this guy. Last week, just not nervous at all, even when the bike wouldn't start. I think he just has so much confidence. Nothing's going to get him down. I bet you he felt like, hey, I'd even spot these guys 25 points if that's what it's going to come down to. I can come back. I can win enough motos to make it happen. And because of the crash for Muscat earlier today, he made up almost all the points right then and there, and then makes up a few more, and he might just be the points leader.
He will be.
Going into the next race, as long as nothing disastrous happens here in this last lap.
Last corner.
So Jeremy Martin, way to answer back. 1-1 here in Colorado.
And last year he crashed right in that corner, which probably cost him a chance at the overall, but what a bounce back for our series defending champion. And this battle is still raging on. Cincerello, he fought back, but is he going to hold it on? Just a few more turns to go.
And how will the math go as far as the podium? Nelson is back in 7th. Nelson would have a 3-7, and Cincerello would have a 5-5. Going to be close, and by the way, Jordan Smith's not giving up. He's still back there.
Yeah, one little bobble and this could change everything real quick. A few more turns to go. But this track has shown anything can happen. These guys on the ragged edge.
Unbelievable, this fight right now. Smith trying to get him. They get a lap rider around him. That's going to hold Smith up past the mechanics area. I think it's time's up as far as Smith goes. He's charging with everything he has into the last turn. Cincerello is going to hold on for 5th. And let's go down to George, who already has Jeremy Martin.
Martin, huge congratulations. After a week like last week, when everything went against you, even though you tried your hardest, you rebounded, you came out here, you dominated. How do you mentally get over something like that?
I mean, you know, I got good people around me. And with that being said, you know, with Johnny and Ricky and my practice bike mechanic Chad, Pedro, my brother, my mom and dad, it's easy to rebound. I know I'm in shape, I know I'm fit, and I know I'm ready to contend for this title. So with that, you know, it just brings all the confidence in the world.
Well, huge congratulations to Jeremy Martin with that overall win here at Lakewood.
Doesn't even look like he rode. Not winded, not sweating, not dirty. Go out and run another moto. We're back here at Colorado and Thunder Valley. Let's give you the Lucas Oil race recap of this second 250 moto. Jeremy Martin gets the start. Chris Aldridge in the back, unfortunately, is down. You give Martin the whole shot, he's going to get away. Now, the good story, see the number 25 here? This is before this race. Huge crash for Marvin Muscat in our first race. They fixed the bike. He recovers to finish a solid 2nd in this one. He's definitely hurting, and the bike was twisted. Good job with him. Now, down the stretch, a battle for 3rd overall. The 50 on the green. Adam Cincerello makes the pass as the white flag comes out. The last lap begins. He gets around Jordan Smith. That should be enough to put him on the podium. Good job of the young kid to fight for it. Meanwhile, Jeremy Martin, like we said, whole shot, that makes it easy on him. This guy is unstoppable today. He wins both motos here at Thunder Valley. Here are your overall results. You see Cincerello wins the tiebreaker with Nelson for that podium spot because the 2nd moto was the tiebreaker. Let's send it down to Georgia with 2nd and 3rd.
Awesome day for Zach Osborne with a 2nd overall here in Colorado Lakewood. Now, like we said before, you've been training with Eli Tomac. Obviously, that seems to have helped. The start of the season wasn't great for you, but what have you guys been working on together? And has Eli been actually helping you out and giving you some tips?
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's so fast right now. It's crazy. Like, even in the motos that we do at home, I'm still not even close. So it's good to have a huge rabbit to chase every day. And I'm thankful for them to take me in like they have me and my family. And yeah, I'm just super blessed to have this opportunity to ride this awesome Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, and I have to just thank all the people that are behind me. Like, it's been a really tough start to the season, like I said, after the first race, and it feels great to build some confidence and just get headed in the right direction.
Congratulations, 2nd overall on my side. And the other side of me, Adam Cincerello, out of nowhere, comes and gets a 3rd overall here today. Wow, it's been a tough few races. It was going to take a while to get in the groove as you've not raced for a while. You've been working with Ivan Tedesco. Has that been helpful? He is a kind of winner here at Lakewood, like we said.
I mean, really, it's my whole team. You know, coming off string of injuries last year and my whole team believing in me. You know, Ivan, you know, just icing on the cake. My whole family, I mean, Mitch, Kawasaki, Reed Nordine there, believing in me. You know, it's been a rough year, and I know it's only 3rd, and, you know, I'm not the fastest guy, I'm not the best guy, but I believe I can be that, and just for my sponsors for sticking behind me, it means so much, and, you know, it's not the 3rd place, it's the, you know, what it represents, what I've had to come back from, and, you know, I'm stoked.
Congratulations, that's awesomely heartfelt. Well done, Adam.
Yeah, this guy missed over a year of racing with a series of shoulder injuries, so nice to see him back. As we suspected, Martin does take the points lead back over Muscat, so it took 1 week to erase all the bad feelings and bad vibes that he had at Glen Helen. Cincerello has quietly climbed up to 4th, and good job by Nelson. 2 good weeks in a row, he is 3rd. Send it back to Georgia.
Wow, what a day for you, Marvin. It has been a struggle. You had that huge crash. You kind of hurt your wrist a little bit. It looks to me like you hurt your chin too, but you completely struggled through that. You made up those points. How are you feeling, and are you going to come back good next week?
Just can't believe I'm right here right now, because I had a huge crash, and when I get off the bike, I was like sideways flying, and I was like, oh man, that's gonna hurt, and I thought I was gonna injure myself, and I hit my head pretty hard, but the Hero helmet is a good helmet, my neck brace, lead brace, so I just hurt myself a little bit, and then my wrist was really sore, and I struggled to get back at it, and for a couple laps it was really hard. My levers were down, my back was twisted, but I tried my best, got 14th, and it was hard, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to restart the second moto, but I want to thank Dr. G. Dr. G worked on my wrist a lot, and actually it was actually pretty good second moto. A good thing it was not the throttle side, it was the left side, so I was following Jeremy, and Jeremy was fast today. He's a good rider, and he has his bad luck in Glen Helen, and I forgot to tell you about it last weekend. I didn't talk about it, but he had some bad luck, but this weekend it's my turn to. I went down, so that's racing. I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm happy to be on my feet, and gotta come back and get better.
Well, that was a strong ride from Marvin Muskin there. Well done.
That's our 250 class. Jeremy Martin takes the win. Marvin Muscat back to fight another day, and we'll be back to transition to our 450 class after this.